now we'd like to hand over to Paul Gardner, who's joining us from Fresh Accounting. Fresh Accounting is one of Asia's leading independent accounting firms, specializing in cloud accounting, financial control, CFO services, and business transformation. With a diverse clientele across Asia and offices in Hong Kong, Singapore, Nepal, and Australia, Fresh has established itself as a key player in its field. So thanks for joining us, Paul.
Yes, welcome. Let's stop sharing so we can see Paul's video instead of your screen. So welcome, Paul. Thank you for joining us. Excited to have you. I think you're just getting your video.
There you
share.
go.
Perfect.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Hey guys. Hello.
So yeah, that was quite an interesting introduction there, but could you tell us a bit about yourself and Fresh Accounting?
Yeah, sure. So Fresh Account. So I grew up in South Africa as a kid, but back to London when I was 10 years old. From the age of 18, I've always been an in-house accountant. So working from 18 to my mid-30s in-house roles, from business startups, business turnarounds, mid-sized businesses, even listed companies. And so arriving in Asia, in Hong Kong, on a one-way ticket in 2014, Fresh was born as an accounting firm with a difference. So not so much tax and audit, but on management accounting for SMEs in Hong Kong. So what was an interim temporary solution whilst finding a job, Fresh has sort of grown and evolved as providing cloud-based accounting through to advisory services and, of course, digital transformation for SMEs in and around Asia.
Awesome. And what was your experience of starting out in Hong Kong as an outsourced accountant back in 2014? How does that compare to today?
Wow, interesting question. I think having worked for a lot of business startups, I really understood what business owners wanted, and perhaps the reasons for someone wanting to employ me. So trying to build Fresh Accounting that could help SMEs that needed help. Whatever a business might want, you find a solution to say, you find a way to say yes, and then figure out how to do it later. I think the landscape 10 years ago was very, very, very different, where Xero in key markets like UK, Australia was already becoming popular, but Asia, no one had really heard of it. So I think we were one of the very, very early partners, with one of the first 10 partners in Asia, third partner in Hong Kong. And so I think what we found was that businesses, if you do something well and help a client, they would recommend you. And that halo effect of recommendations really built Fresh in Hong Kong. We always wanted to see Fresh Accounting being more than just one city. So we did quickly expand into Singapore in 2016. We thought, if our clients can do it, why can't we? Quite brave. And then during 2021, we looked at establishing a presence in Nepal with the struggle with recruitment. So rather than sitting on a fence wondering what to do, we actually made a plunge to try and do things and be quite proactive. And then earlier this year, we looked at perhaps establish it. Well, so we didn't perhaps we established an office in Australia, so we could sort of see our clients in Asia Pacific. It wasn't just Asia, but we have quite an interesting client base in Australia. So I think when we started as a Hong Kong business, I could never have dreamt that 10 years later we'd be looking beyond Hong Kong, beyond Asia, and at the same time, jumping onto a webinar with Syft Analytics.
Amazing. I love how you end that question, but it definitely does sound brave. So congratulations on the expansion and that bravery. And I think being proactive definitely came through that. So obviously you mentioned Sift. So our next question is, what has your experience been working with Sift through the years?
Interesting. So I've known Duran for many, many years, and everyone on the webinar today will hear from Duran later. We sort of met at different Xerocons throughout the years, and I think Fresh had a very different approach, that we wanted to look at Syft Analytics. We knew a lot of our clients were using Syft Analytics directly, not through an accounting partner. I think as different clients, like what we always focus on Fresh Accounting is to be accounting advisory. So that could be financial control, CFO, through to this digital transformation piece. What we found is everything we do is centralized around Xero, no other accounting software. But interestingly, around reporting, consolidation, actually clients want to choose the software they want to use rather than us making a recommendation. So it was really interesting to see how clients or CFOs or business owners had heard of Syft Analytics, wants to use Syft Analytics. So Duran and I had a very long, meaningful conversation finally late last year, and we came on board, and I think we're the second Syft partner in Asia. But at the same time, what that means for us is helping clients across Asia and actually being a go-to partner, because Syft Analytics cannot be everywhere. So when clients get stuck or need a problem, or potential clients, they know where to find us. But at the same time, I think the relationship that we've built with Syft Analytics and with you, with everyone on the call today, is been really meaningful. That it's not just a software partner relationship; it's actually building meaningful connections. So when we hear that, businesses might speak to Syft directly about, hey, we need help. It's also at the same time, how can Fresh Accounting work with Syft Analytics even more in helping SMEs grow faster and accelerate in Asia?
Amazing. I think I love that goal. That's definitely linked to why I love Syft, that helping SMEs grow. So definitely aligned values there. Yeah, no, we gonna get on great. Yeah, next up.
So then my next question is, what would your favorite feature on Syft be?
Wow, there's a few. Actually, I did say to everyone that I'd be on. I did say to Alex on Monday that I'd have to speak with the team and with Ash about this. Interestingly, I think one of the things that we like are dashboards, customizable. So whether you're a CFO, CEO, CRO, you don't always want to look at the same data. The ability to change things. Asia, honestly, it's very complex markets at times, and I think some of the other questions coming up later expand on that. But cash balance reports, the ability to see cash on a daily basis is really important, especially when clients are running businesses that could be Hong Kong dollars, Singapore dollars, US dollars, Australian dollars. Actually, just having that ability to have consolidation and even on a daily basis is really important. I think the ability to drill down on information, a lot of other reporting softwares, you can look at payables or receivables, but if you really want to know what it's made up of, you have to go to the source of data. Syft Analytics really allows us to drill down to payables, receivables, to actually see what's really happening in Syft without having to go back to the source. And the same with any sort of information you're looking at, you can find it in Syft Analytics, which I think is really key. And I think something else that's perhaps more important now is that where clients want to connect different information from different data sets. Historically, everyone talks about Power BI. Let's build Power BI that can bring in non-financial KPIs. It could be around ESG reporting, perhaps. Some sort of customer service levels, reporting satisfaction levels, but actually the ability to build non-financial data reports in, such as Google Sheets, Excel. I think that's called connectors, but the ability to start using Syft Analytics to build more than just your financial information, I think are really important drivers, especially for us in Asia.
No, amazing. I was actually just listening to training this morning on credit codes and sustainability stuff. So definitely topical. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's good. You said one, and I thought I need to go through a few of them, because I think it's, the reason why we can see clients actually liking Syft Analytics and why we use it in Fresh is there's just a few more, then it's hard to have the favorite one or the two. So yeah, so I cheated there, sorry.
That's okay. We like that type of cheating. That's good. That one's always allowed.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
So you mentioned reporting and consolidation. So Syft obviously helps automate both of those things. So why do you think other firms should maybe also consider automating those two processes?
Yeah, so when I first came to Asia 10 years ago, I've always had an international mindset when working in London and in the UK and working in very, I guess, forward-looking businesses that were building businesses, scaling overseas. I think in Asia, some of the things that we're looking at, what's important is multi-currency. We're working in such a dynamic environment where it's not single currency anymore. Cash flow is always a pain in the backside. Intercompany, tricky intercompany, consolidations as well. And I think in the early days, business owners would always talk around this ability that we can just employ someone to do it in Excel. That's fine if it's one or two companies. But what we see is a lot of our clients are multi-entity businesses. So perhaps 5 companies, 10 companies, up to 35 companies in a group. Relying on Excel to produce a consolidation just doesn't make sense. I think at the same time, when we do speak to other accounting firms, and Duran and I have spoken about this before, is accounting firms find it hard to offer these services to their clients because they don't know how to charge for it or price for that service. But at the same time, accounting firms are taking on more work by doing things the hard way. And I think at the same time, business owners, what you'd always find historically is the moment you grow into a larger SME, you always feel like you have to go to a large software such as a NetSuite or an SAP one or a Microsoft Dynamics, and then everything's built in for you, or apparently it is. Whereas I feel this ability to be using Xero and Syft Analytics, just actually, if you're using Xero, for example, or QuickBooks, or even other solutions, or the ability to tap Syft Analytics on top of that and actually reduce some of the heavy lifting work. So rather than trying to pull data together, Syft Analytics is allowing us to see data in one place and then revise or see what's missing. I just feel that it's a no-brainer for accounting firms to adapt this into our own firms. But at the same time, business owners also do need to be made aware of, software such as Syft Analytics, so that they can also then challenge their accounting firms to embrace technology. Because Syft Analytics is there to help, not be a pain. And I think a lot of us accountants always do count the pennies, but we do need to look at how the software can actually help us and our clients.
Makes sense.
Oh, definitely. Wondering what challenges or trends do you see in the industry in Asia at the moment?
Oh, wow. Well, I was at Xerocon earlier this year in London in June, and I think talking to a few different people in the ecosystem, we feel that where Western markets business growth is going to be more challenging in the past, I think a lot of opportunity now sits in Asia. A lot of growth will be in Asia. We have young emerging markets, growing markets. So more Western businesses will be looking at breaking into Asia. I think what's interesting is whether it's language, different compliances in each country. A good example of where Hong Kong and Singapore is all English-speaking markets and an English legal system. Actually, for most other countries, Thai is in Thailand. Thailand is in Thai. Vietnam is Vietnamese. I think what we can see for accounting firms is that when more businesses and SMEs are establishing, they want accounting firms that can do more. And so can you cover all these countries? And I think for us in Hong Kong and Singapore, there might be a holding company. We can certainly help around accounting, reporting, any sort of information that's needed. But then also, I think for us, the challenge is we need to build better networks with other accounting firms across Asia to supply services. So it's not just a big 4 that can do this or big 20 mid-tier firm. I think the challenge is that businesses want more in Asia. Sometimes it's hard to offer that. But I think the power of using cloud accounting, where the CEO or the founder might still be in South Africa, Australia, or the UK. I think the ability of having cloud accounting solutions so that business owners, CEOs can actually see the information in home countries is really important. We do have a challenge in a shortage of labor. So the accounting market, where we see developed countries complaining about the shortage of talent, we do have that same problem in Asia as well, certainly in Hong Kong and Singapore. So I think trying to use software smartly and efficiently, it's our friend to help us. Syft Analytics can make reporting in seconds versus an Excel spreadsheet that will take, I would say minutes, but hours to produce and might be missing something. I do see more businesses coming to Asia. There's more opportunity. And I think at the same time, for accounting firms, cloud accounting is still quite far behind other markets such as UK or Australia. But it's a huge opportunity for firms in Asia to upskill and upgrade. And Syft Analytics was an APAC Xero winning software this year. So again, it's putting it on the map, which is actually sort of allowing us accounting firms to offer more to our customers and clients.
Amazing.
I think I was going through with opportunities and challenges, so I got it mixed up. Sorry.
No, it made sense. It made sense. I think it's good to see the full perspective. It's not all bleak, it's opportunities as well. But yeah, thank you so much for your feedback, Paul. I really enjoyed hearing from you, and thanks for taking the time to share your story.